moment until the end, time is running out on this character.
Time is a very peculiar item. You see, when you're young, you're a kid, you got time, you got nothing but time.
This picture is an abstract piece that has gray and color, and black and white is a real good choice when you're trying to abstract all these things.
Walls onto buildings and things like that. We did quite a lot of that in this picture. Big tree shadow all over the front of the house. That's not a tree shadow, that's painted.
Fights, man. This reminds me of the old days when we used to have rumbles. Heroin ruined the gangs, man. Junk, you know?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, would you? Ask my brother. He'll tell you. Gang really meant something back then.
That gang shit was out of style when you was 10 years old.
Oh, shit, man. I was fucking 11. I can remember. I was in the Swamp Babies. That was the Pee Wee branch of the Packers.
Yeah?
Gang really meant something back then.
Yeah, like getting sent to the hospital once.
No loyalty, man. No organism. Hey, what's up? Hey. Hey, what's the matter, man, huh?
or rather named by the others in the film. But the main reason for the striking look of Rumble Fish is that Coppola no longer subjects his images to a spatial arrangement, but allows them to be variable and fluid and places them in the Regis past. But what the glory and riches of the time of the true heroes exactly entail, they can hardly imagine. Just as they can only guess at what moves and has moved the motorcycle boy. Indeed, throughout the entire film, Rourke's face has only an inscrutable smile. Purified by a long journey to California, he rarely reveals any of his thoughts and musings to his younger brother. The viewer too can do no more than suspect the motorcycle boy's dominion. Images or flashbacks about the past are not allowed to him. Only its traces are visible. Graffiti texts, wild signs on walls and direction indicators keep alive the memory of what must have been an eventful era full of gangs and rumbles, but do not evoke it again. For the rest, the film has little to offer the nostalgic viewer. Everything indicates that another time has arrived, when the hero, Rusty James, who lives with his constantly intoxicated father in a less flourishing housing, has been stripped of all luster. He cannot present himself as a real hero either. Already during a rumble at the beginning of the film he is fatally injured, so that he otherwise walks around somewhat limp, and with a face contorted in power of appearances. To ward off the horrifying void that, at least so it is supposed, threatens to emerge after the vibrant years of the motorcycle boy, Rumble Fish has developed a remarkably sophisticated Rumble Fish 2, the battle hero are necessary to lead his followers. Power of appearances. In order to scare off the horrifying emptiness that, at least
El chico de la motocicleta reina. El chico de la motocicleta reina.
Decir no es hacer. Rayos.
I should close up now, boys.
Coppola is no stranger to this policy of deterrence. After all, the emptiness feared here can also be read as the emptiness
in that pool hall.
These things happen, Rusty James. Maybe we should go double or nothing sometime.
Sit down.
He's not any better than Biff Wilcox, his enemy.
I love the fight scene. It was choreographed by Michael Smuin. We brought him, he was doing the San Francisco Ballet at that time.
And this is a knife fight in an alley, and Matt Dillon, the star of the movie, is supposed to be coming out of his own body and raising up and turning over, so they want to shoot it without using any wires.
It's noticed, and Coppola as a whole is aware of that. But wherein other films spectacle and magnification are used as strategic means, in Rumble Fish Coppola resorts to portrayal and accentuation. Gang, on their way to a date. or just on the road, without a goal, as in the whole second half of the film, in which Rusty James wanders around with one of his comrades and his brother and ends up at a late-night party that, as usually happens to strollers, already on is coming to an end. The same applies to the sudden dehydration of Rusty James's body. We're not at all averse. References to video clips and to KOYAANISQATSI, released just before Rumblefish, are therefore not out of the blue. Time, speed, and the unsteadiness of the representation, these are the terms by which the images of today's media, dominated by
We gotta get in with those socials. Let's do it for Johnny, man. We'll do it for Johnny.
No, you're gonna be alright, kid. You gotta be. Couldn't get a little.
How is that, man?
People are gonna condemn this restaurant.
Don't pay
This is
for it.
horrible.
I wouldn't pay for
Taste
it.
it.
You
Taste
drank it already.
I did not drink it already. I'm sorry, but that's off.
Let's get out of here, man. I wouldn't even pay for it.
Keep the change.
definitively made way for the crack of the screen. As Serge Daney once
Every chance he gets, it's back down into the subway system, looking furtively around to make sure the coast is clear, and then going to it. He stalks the New York City subways, waiting for his chance to strike. When the opportunity comes, he moves fast. He has to. Opportunity for Keith Haring is a blank advertising poster. Using a piece of chalk, the young man from Kutztown, Pennsylvania, draws a picture, a cartoon-like drawing, which he finishes in a minute or two, and then moves on. He may do as many as 30 such drawings in a day, all different, but all the same in certain ways. He puts them down here so that millions can see them, and millions do.
You don't have to know anything about art to appreciate it. There aren't any hidden secrets or things that you're supposed to understand.
But he's got to be careful, because technically what he's doing is illegal graffiti.
I'm under arrest for graffiti in the subway.
Haring doesn't think he is defacing anything. The arrest is always short-lived, and it's worth the temporary humiliation for him, because he wants ordinary people, subway riders, to see his stuff. Is it?
Subway fare had gone up, but that was okay. I knew my way downtown, and walking was deluxe.
Michelle is in the
This particularly felt strongly about Matt from the earliest.
The job, there's no way. And I remember going and calling my manager from Grand Central saying I blew it, I didn't get it, I know it, and being very depressed about it. Only to find out that the reason he sent me home was because he knew he was going to cast me in the film. Later on, I discovered that. Of course, it was a highlight for me.
All right, here you go. This is a box. You guys aren't exactly the same size, but it's dry. Hey, it's gonna be cold where you're going. This character that Matt played had been in New York City and had come to Oklahoma from New York, so he had the street smarts, the street toughness. Be careful. Now, Matt is a dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker. He would like to think he was, but he wasn't really a tough New York boy. He was incredibly handsome, a kind of mean toughness, but you still like him. Are you a real redhead? When he dies, I mean, you cared deeply of that loss because of Matt's performance.
I'm Diane Lane. Diane Lane.
Well, Diane Lane had been acting since she was, 6.
Have you ever been in love with somebody? Yeah. The most important, I thought, was the first time I fell in love, or I thought I was in love.
She was just turning 16. It was from a kid to a real teenager.
Leaving on the guy just saying, look at me. Now, whatever you're going to do to make him look at you, I don't know.
She was my cherry choice from the get-go.
Excuse me,
Ralph.
Ralph, doing it this way is like you're starting to...
Ralph was small. There was a kind of toughness and a kind of sweetness at the same time.
Okay.
Kids have long hair. Why do they all cut their... See if you can find the humor in it. I just got a good sense.
Plus, Ralph had real acting chops. He was a little pro.
Okay, anytime.
One thing I clearly remember is anytime I was asked to read a different role, I was sort of bummed that, well, maybe I won't get the Johnny part, because I wanted to play. So I got to read Pony Boy. I think I read two bits once or twice.
The boys looking in, and that's in black and white.
I was too
Then
young
all we
and
need to
frail to
do
be
is
Dallas
we just
or
cut
anything.
those
But I just
sections
wanted, I was
into the
specifically
print.
wanted
And it was a very, very simple
to have the opportunity to
solution,
play Johnny,
and that's
so,
what we did.
so it was an exciting journey.
You are living in a vacuum, Pony, and you're gonna have to cut it out.
I was kind of a fan of Patrick's. I had seen him in some cheesy movie, Roller Boogie, or some roller skating dance movie. I found it very interesting, and I arranged to meet him.
Oh, man.
He was older. He conveyed older than the other boys.
That's all Sandy wanted was to give it back.
In point of fact, he was a lot older, but he was able to play just the right amount of older.
I never had a thing to do with their parents.
Pony Boy was the most difficult part to cast because he tells the story.
Fixed breakfast. Let's start over.
Okay.
The first one up has to fix breakfast, and the other two do breakfast.
I'll never forget seeing Tom Howell for the first time. I walked into the stage, and the auditions were already happening, and Tommy was playing Pony Boy. And they sent everybody back, and Tommy stayed. And then other people played their parts, and they sent everybody back, and Tommy stayed. And then more people came up and played different parts, and Tommy stayed. And I went, that's Pony Boy.
All three of us like chocolate cake for breakfast. Mom and Dad allowed it with ham, never allowed it with ham and eggs.
He had such gravitas for a kid of his age. He has such weight.
I just can't stand it here. You guys fight anymore.
Francis and I both knew Emilio a little bit.
Sometimes I just have to get out.
Marty Sheen had been our star on Apocalypse Now and had been in the Philippines. And the kids were out there a lot of the time. So we had known Emilio from all those months in the Philippines. I think it was a great choice because he had a lot of droll humor to him.
You have 6 every night, pal. Rosie Palm and her 5 daughters. Hurry up, we're gonna be late.
Tom Cruise, you could see his talent from Taps, and he took this testing process very, very seriously and was very intense. I remember him not so much being part of the boys playing around with each other between tests, between takes. I think he was mooding up, getting into his character. He takes his acting very, very seriously and prepares very, very seriously.
Try one that's like a seasoned gangster. Like Humphrey Bogart.
Take care, kid. I want to try this again. No, quick.
In a sense, I was only interested in, the magic they were going to make there reading the scene. I didn't realize that they were all nervous, of course.
Very simple. You tend to want to go a little more fast. You got to learn slowness.
Okay.
That's why I'm playing you this slow music.
To me, it's all fun, and of course, to them, it was life and death career.
We had a wealth of talent to choose from there, and we just made gut decisions on who we chose. Casting is the most fun of the movie-making process. The casting period, and when you make your decisions, it's all optimism.
I guess we're different.
Shoot. Maybe they are.
I can never not get totally involved in the casting of a movie. It's just in my DNA, I guess.
Just checking Diane's height. How tall are you?
5'5".
Coach, do you weigh?
106.
Let's do some poetry.